50, 45, there goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Welcome into a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 488, presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them in just a little, but today is Monday, January 6, 2025. The season is over, kid. How the hell you doing?
Ah, man. As a football fan, I'm all right. You know, it sucks that the season's over, but it's okay. You know, because you got the wild card weekend, the divisional round. It sucks, but it's all right. As a Patriots fan, I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Man. I'm devastated. We could have set ourselves up very nicely.
Yeah.
Very, very nicely. But we chose to do otherwise. We chose to do otherwise. And I was scratching my head last night wondering why. I just don't know. You know, we could have set ourselves up for the future.
Yeah.
But we chose not to.
Yeah, I mean, we could go so many directions, but we'll talk about that. Gerard Mayo out, Doug Peterson, like I predicted, just a few weeks early, out. A lot of firings have happened. A lot of coaching staying put. Giants stable got stayed put as well. So we'll talk about that. I would ask some Giant fans. I think they would disagree, but we're thankfully you and I are not Giant fans. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Super Wild Card weekend that's coming up. Some really good games. I love how it's on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as well. And we got a 9-game slate in the association. Elvis will end it over there. But kid, I mean, let's start with your Patriots. I want to start with AFC first, and then we'll go to NFC. As you know, Chiefs have the number 1 seed. Bills, they lock up the 2 seed. Ravens win the division. We cashed that. Ravens, they get the 3 seed. Texans, they win their division. They get the 4th. Chargers win, they get the 5th seed. Steelers lose, they get the 6th seed, and then the Broncos routed the Chiefs without their starters. Carson Wentz should not be playing football. I mean, that was just bad to watch. They win, they're in at the 7th seed. We'll start with you guys. Bills, they wind up losing, but they still get the 2nd seed, 23-16. Real quick on a positive, you got your QB too. Joe Milton had some NFL throws yesterday. I'll say that he should be playing a little more in the preseason next year. Joe Milton got a cannon of an arm. I want to say some positives real quick. And we heard Shefty before the game even started. He said he heard some rumblings that Gerard Mayo might be gone. And if he's hearing it, you know the players in the locker room are hearing it. I think he was fired an hour after the loss. I mean, that was the win? I'm sorry. Because in retrospect, it was a loss to the team because you guys with a loss could have locked in the number 1 seed, but you win. Now you guys have the number 4 pick. Do you think Robert Kraft, it was a reactionary fire because of the win?
For it to happen an hour after, let's just say the final whistle, yes. If I'm pissed off, I can only imagine Robert Kraft is pissed off, and Robert Kraft is a stand-up guy. I can honestly say I don't think Robert Kraft, called Gerard Mayo up for a meeting and was like, "Yo, we got to lose this game Sunday." I don't think he did that. Like Miami's Dolphin coach did with Brian Flores a couple years ago. Oh my God, yeah. I don't think Bob Kraft did that. So I got at least respect that he didn't tell his coach to purposely lose the game, because that didn't fucking happen. That conversation never been held. Kind of wish it did, but also you got to respect that Bob Kraft, Mr. Robert Kraft, is a stand-up guy. Better guy than I am. I'm gonna be honest. Better guy than I am. I would have lost that game.
Do you think he knew rumblings were happening and said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stick it to Robert Kraft and win the game on purpose and fuck him over"?
He pulled the Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
What Lovie Smith did a couple years ago with the Houston Texans. He said, "Fuck it, we're gonna go win this last game," and that's what he did out there. Bright side, Joe Milton III might be the best backup quarterback in all of football. The guy went out there. I understand it was a bunch of backups. I understand. But we are talking about the Buffalo Bills in divisional matchup in the cold. Joe Milton went out there in his debut, 22 for 29, 241, and a tutty. And I'm pretty sure, he ran one as well.
Yeah, he did.
Still, like I said, as a Patriots fan, I'm devastated. But you got to look at things from the bright side. I'm going to give us a 15% chance that we could still possibly land Travis Hunter. I wish we could have landed the number 1 pick, traded back to the 2nd or 3rd pick, got a picks in return for this year and next year's draft, and still draft the best player on the board, Travis Hunter. But we couldn't do that, so it leaves me here devastated. I just don't know why, but I think that's the main reason why Jerome Hill got fired an hour after the game. Possibly he would still get fired, but not an hour. Like, he didn't even shower yet. He was fired.
Yeah, he was fired immediately. You saw him. I mean, I was watching the game a little bit, and you saw Robert Kraft in the boot in his box up top, head down. He was mad.
Yeah,
you could tell.
A 1st-round pick and Travis Hunter just walked out the building.
Yeah,
because that's what we was going to get at the bare minimum, a 2nd round this year, a 2nd round next year. At the bare minimum, we could have got 2 1st-round picks. Who knows? We don't know how desperate a team would have been to jump up a spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. We don't know, Dill. We would never find out.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But like you said,
I need a drink.
Yeah, after that.
Man, I need a drink because I just came. Realization just hit again.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's the reason I posed the question to you, I think, last week. I was hearing rumblings, people that I follow, New England journalists, they were hearing rumblings. Now, do I think he should have been fired? I think 4-13 warrants you being fired, truthfully. Now, do I think he had the talent to go out there and put out a competitive team? No, not really. I think there's 1 or 2 guys that are good on the team, but it is the Patriots. The standard is higher for the Patriots.
Agreed, but I honestly believe this, though. If he would have went out there and lost this game, he would still have a job at least at the moment. I'm not saying he's the head coach come September, but he will have a job. He'll be demoted to, let's just say, defensive position or overseeing something. Not you just set back our franchise a couple of years. Like, I understand Drake May looking like that guy, but we could have set ourselves up for the future. Like I said, at the bare minimum, 2 2nd-round picks this year and next year with a top 3 pick. At the bare minimum. Now we're at number 4, hoping Travis Hunter falls to us.
Yeah, it's actually sad, and you really don't see one and done coaches. Like, honestly,
in the NFL,
in the NFL at least. I mean, even Adam Gates got a few years. Freddie Kitchens, like Frank Wright, he was the latest. Well, Gerard Mayo is the latest, but Frank Wright, Lovie Smith, like you just said, Nathaniel Hackett, Urban Meyer, Freddie Kitchens, like those are the ones that come to mind. But
Freddie
outside
Kitchens
of that,
is bad.
Yeah, Freddie Kitchens was bad. Chip Kelly. Back in 2016, he was another one.
He made the playoffs with Sam.
And still got the boot. Yeah. I mean, it's bad. Like, it's really not a one and done in the NFL. So for the Patriots of all teams, and you saw how highly in the offseason they were like, oh, we've been grooming Gerard Mayo to be the next head coach. We've heard nothing but good things from Bill saying that. You even heard Gronk afterwards. They Fox cut to break. He was going off so much. He said, well, we're not allowing this. Did you hear what Gronk said?
No, I didn't, though. But that's my thing. I honestly believe if he would have went out there and lost this game, he will still have a job today.
I agree. That's why I think I posed the question right in the beginning, because I think it was a reactionary fire. Unfortunately, I thought it was reactionary fired. So unfortunate, but you guys do get the win. We do cash the under 5.5 wins for the Patriots on the season. Bills, they clinched the division, so we get that right. Hey, I'm trying to spin it to a positive, kid, for these. Another firing. We don't have to touch too much on this, but Doug Peterson, he got the boot as well. They wind up losing 23-26, and I can't believe that.
It took this long.
it took this long. But even on the other side with the Colts, Shane Steichen, he winds up returning. The GM, like this team just, first of all, Anthony Richardson is not the guy. Now, I don't think it would have been better if Joe Flacco was starting all games, because I think their record with Joe Flacco was 2-4. And even Joe Flacco came out after the game and said, I still want to play, and I want to see him play too. But this team needs a little spark or a little change, because they're just an 8 or 9 win team every year. And it's unfortunate that you have guys like Buckner who just give it your all every year and you don't make the playoffs. So it's unfortunate. So I was kind of confused that Shane Steichen didn't get the boot as well, but I really think Ben Johnson might get the Jacksonville Jaguar job. Any ideas who you think, because he wants a quarterback, he wants to go somewhere with a quarterback, and they have a lot of money. They got Brian Thompson Jr. That's one positive. I mean, they hit a home run on Brian Thompson Jr. He's elite.
Yeah. Not for now. That is a sexy head coaching spot. Let's just see that. Hate it or love it, Trevor Lawrence,
top 10 quarterback.
Give or take, depending who you asking, depending, what part of the country you're at. Yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna, fight you over it. You have Evan Ingram, I'm a top 10 tight end.
Mm-hmm.
You have Brian Thomas Jr., who's honestly he's a stud.
Yeah.
You got my boy Christian Kirk, who went down with an injury. He's pretty good. You got some pieces offensively in Jacksonville. Defensively, but got potential. You got first round picks in there. You got like Walker and stuff like that. Josh Allen. You got picks in there. In my opinion, I think he ends up there or Chicago.
Yeah.
He has to go somewhere where he's going to be able to build, and he's going to have a young quarterback. Look what he was able to do with Jared Goff in a couple years. Back to back, I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit as well. But, Ben Johnson does deserve some credit for winning back to back division titles, for having the number one offense in points per game. He deserves credit for that. And we saw multiple times this season where, we see Penny Sewell go out for a route. We see a swing pass. We see a pass down the field, and then they pitch it back, and Jameis Williams takes it up the field 40 yards. That's great play calling by Ben Johnson and designing. So, to me, any team out there will be a great fit for him, honestly. But me personally, I honestly hope he looks at the New England Patriots still.
Real quick,
we have Drake May. We have a ton of cap space.
150 million.
Have a top 4th pick. He could do whatever he wants. He could go defensive. He could go offensive. He could go O-line. He could go running back if he wants. He could do, honestly, whatever he wants with that 4th overall pick. He has a ton of money, and you have 2 young quarterbacks that you could build with in Drake May, or if you want, Milton, the 3rd.
I'm glad you brought it back to the Patriots, because I forgot to ask you that. I think your next coach is going to be Mike Vrabel. I mean, he's an ex-Patriot. Yeah. I mean, that's a perfect fit. No, he has a great relationship with Robert Kraft. He's an alpha guy who's going to bring a culture. And reports, Adam Schefter came out and said he only took a Jets interview to try to get leverage for the Patriots, which is brilliant.
Yeah. One thing I would say, I wouldn't love the fact, we hire another former Patriot, like back-to-back former Patriots as players being hired as head coaches. Wouldn't love that part of it. But one thing I could say is, Mike Vrabel is going to command respect of the locker room. And he's going to have the locker room ready to go day one. One thing I would say about Robert Kraft is, yes, he probably has a pretty good relationship with Mike Vrabel. But does he still have a sour taste of his mouth for having Mike Vrabel come when he was the coach for Tennessee and beat the Patriots in Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot in Foxborough? So maybe still have a sour taste there. But if I had to make a choice, I will give Ben Johnson in making the highest paid NFL coach.
Yeah, someone's going to give him the bag, and I think Jacksonville with Shad, the owner.
That will be the sexiest job. You're in Florida, no state tax. You have Trevor Lawrence. You have a true number 1 wide receiver. You have a pretty good tight end. Offensively, for an offensive coach, that's a sexy destination.
And I also think you mentioned you might not like it as a Patriot fan, but I think that's what Mr. Kraft and Robert Kraft want to do is go the expatriate way. And
but look
I
how
say
that worked out.
yes, but I guess the one big difference is Gerard Mayo hasn't proven anything. At least Mike Vrabel has proven that he could win, and he's a head coach.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo can't.
I give you that.
So, yeah, I think you guys are going to get Mike Vrabel. I think Ben Johnson is going to go to Jacksonville. So we'll see.
Hey,
as for
Chicago, man.
No, I'm not. I just don't. They're like the Jets, where they're such a dysfunctional organization. They wouldn't go and do that. They won't do the right thing. Whether you just throw the bag at Ben Johnson, which is the best candidate out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to go and get like a Brian Flores. And we saw how that worked out.
No, I'm like I said, I threw this name out there a couple of weeks ago. USC ties Pete Carroll. He's been there, done that.
70 years old, kid.
I
like Pete Carroll.
Andy Reid's like 78. He's coming off 2 back-to-back championships. Looking for a third.
But they don't need that for a young team. The Chiefs are already there.
They might need that, though. They might need that.
As for win totals, though, for the Jacksonville Jaguars, under 6.5 cashes, and the over 8.5 does not cash. Do you remember your win totals? I was going through mine. Do you remember them for yours, real quick?
I definitely took the over for Jacksonville. I had to be high.
Okay. Yeah, you were a little high on them.
Yeah, I had to be.
All right, let's go to a playoff team on Saturday. I mean, you mentioned it. We were on the phone earlier, like, hey, maybe he does win the MVP, but another great performance. Not the best performance out of the gate. You even heard him say it after the game from Lamar. He said he could have got a lot more out of his offense. I mean, that shovel pass to Henry that they missed, he could have had 3, but they do wind up covering whether you got the 19.5 or 20.5, it didn't matter. Game goes over 41.5 as well, but the Baltimore Ravens, they clinched the AFC North once again. We cashed that. We wind up cashing the 10.5 wins as well. Browns, that is something I did not get wrong. I was high again. Once again, the Browns trapped me, and I do not get the over 8.5 wins. They secure the number 2 pick in the NFL draft. They're probably going to go quarterback kid, but Ravens, they're looking at a home playoff game against the Steelers. And the way the Steelers are looking right now, I think they love that. They're the biggest favorite in wild card weekend, 9.5 point favorite. It opened up 8.5, 9.5 point favorite. Doesn't look like Zay Flowers will probably go. He hurt his leg. So we'll see. They say that the injury is a UCL, so it takes about 2 weeks to recover. I don't think they'll need it. I think they're gonna cruise past Pittsburgh here at home. But anything for the Browns, real quick, or no?
Yeah, I ended up hitting the under on them. Nice. I think it was 8.5.
Yeah, it was. I was like,
I this preseason, I was like, you know what? I gotta stop thinking of the past.
Yeah, me too.
Deshaun got to prove it to me, and I took the under. And I didn't expect this, but I was right.
Right. Good job there. What about the Ravens? I think they're a scary team. I think their road is hard to the Super Bowl, but I think Lamar, as much as I like Lamar, I think he has the most to prove this playoffs, correct?
Yeah. Most to prove.
That playoff record ain't the best.
I want to say if he was the number 1 seed, yes. Okay. They're good. They're not as good as they were last year. So I'll say Josh Allen has a little more to prove, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Or you could say Jalen Hurts. Because a lot of people was giving criticism. Oh, it's Saquon, this and that. In my opinion, it's Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. And then you could go Lamar. But I think I'm pretty sure I took Cincinnati to win the division. Wrong about that. I'm not sure if I took their win total over or not. But I know I took like Lamar over rushing, over passing touchdowns. But I'm pretty sure I took Cincinnati to win the division. Like 90% sure.
Yeah. In Cincinnati, I mean, I don't want to say it's a waste, kid, but when Joe Burrow put up the numbers he did and Jamar Chase is going to win the Triple Crown.
No, we won it. He
won it. I mean, it's a waste of a season when you don't get in. I mean, 9-8. Yeah, they ended up on a high note, winning 5 straight, but they get the 17th pick in the draft.
Question, Dill.
Mm-hmm.
did Zach Taylor do enough to keep his job?
I think so. I know he is on the hot seat. I think so. I just don't. I think the bigger question is because what if hypothetical if Jamar Chase winded up getting a contract last offseason and then had this season, he's underpaid. Let's just say because the number just keeps going up. I don't think they're going to be able to keep T. Higgins. Truthfully, I
They're
really
not gonna
don't.
pay both. They're not gonna pay both. Just because T. Higgins, remember, he missed 4 or 5 games, and he was a hair shy of 1,000 yards.
It's insane.
Yeah,
he's a number 1 on 80% of other teams. It's insane. I mean, Jamar Chase is going to be the highest paid wide receiver after this year. He is just ridiculous.
I've been saying it for months on this show. I honestly hope the Patriots' second move, because we need a coach. We need a coach now.
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, I hope right now we're on the phone trying to get a head coach, and then on our other phone, let's just say our cell phone, we're on the phone with T. Higgins' agent right now.
Why not go after Jamar? Cincinnati isn't an organization that is known to pay their players.
First of all, we're not trying to make the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history.
Yeah, but you put him with Drake May.
I understand, but I honestly think Jamar Chase ain't gonna take the highest paid. Well, maybe still be, but I don't think he's gonna take top dollar.
Yeah,
I think he will take a hairline discount because he still felt disrespected, not giving him his section last year. I think he takes a small discount to stay with his buddy Joe Burrow, because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure you know, and I know damn sure Jamar Chase knows, he would not be putting up these type of numbers with any other quarterback in the NFL.
That's fair. Yeah.
He knows that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know if
perfect example.
Yeah.
Look at Tyreek Hill. For the people out there listening, look at Tyreek Hill.
I'm out.
X profile picture.
Yeah.
It's AB hitting the deuces at MetLife.
That's
He went from Patrick Mahomes. Look what he said a couple years ago. Oh, Tua's that's good. I haven't seen somebody throw a ball like Tua. He's saying peace. He just signed a contract extension this offseason. Remember, 3 years, $100 million.
He said he has to do what's best for his family.
He got 9 kids.
He has to. He can't afford
what's best for your family is to stay in Florida. No, don't stay income tax.
Oh man, I think
honest,
he's gonna have like a revelation.
Yeah, I think Jamar Chase stays in Cincinnati because he don't want to end up like Tyreek Hill. Leave a team that's hater love it. Cincinnati with Joe Burrow, they have a chance to compete in the Super Bowl every year with Joe Burrow, right? Tyreek Hill had the same opportunity with Patrick Mahomes. He's regretting it every day right now. I apologize.
My question was just that. Do you think in a very tough division, probably the second toughest division, do you think he has an opportunity if he stays to win in Cincinnati? Because you got Baltimore is always there. You got Pittsburgh.
Absolutely, Dill. Real quick. Who was the best quarterback in football this year?
Well, you know my answer. I think it's it's Lamar.
I know, but who was it? It's no numbers, number-wise. Who was the best quarterback in football this year? Joe Burrow. Touchdowns, yards, completion percentage. He was the best quarterback in football this year. I said it 2 years ago. He's the best quarterback in football. In my opinion, he still is.
Patrick
Mahomes, yes. Patrick Mahomes deserves the title. But you're not going to sit here, we could break down the numbers last 3 seasons. Joe Burrow's going to outplay Patrick Mahomes.
And that also thing, the whole Burrow head doesn't even hold true anymore because he winds up losing.
He still has a winning record against him.
But not in Arrowhead. So
no, regardless, in his career, he has a winning record against Patrick Mahomes. Hate or love is just a fact.
Let me see. I for shits and giggles, I don't even know his record against him. It's 3-2. Joe Burrow's 3-2. He's 1-1 in the playoffs.
He was 3-0.
Yeah, I think Jamar winds up staying. I just don't think he should take the discount. I mean, because look at you're just gonna get better. You're in your prime. Why take less?
I'm not saying take $25 million a year. All I'm saying is, Dale, we
Yeah.
know your team should have been much better than a 9-win team, and it was because you had a poor defense. Honestly, one of the worst defenses all of football. If
Mhm.
Jamar Chase just takes somewhat of a discount, maybe you can improve the other side. That's all. You
Yeah.
can't. You're not going to be able to pay Jamar Chase, making the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. Give a pretty good favorable contract for T Higgins as well, and expect, oh, we're going to make the playoffs next season because they're under contract. No, you got to fix the defense. Still, that's a bottom 5 defense. Yes, they turned it on the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, but 75% of the season that was a bottom 5 defense.
Do you think their defensive coordinator who got fired, I think his name is Lou Anaramo, he's been in Cincinnati for the last 6 years. Do you think that's a desirable job? Because they have a lot of work to do. Their linebacker coach got fired. Their
Yeah,
defensive line got fired.
yes, just because you have some pieces like Trey Henderson, he just led the
Beast.
NFL in sacks.
Yeah, beast.
So you got a dog on the front line. You just gotta make scheme and make the secondary better. There's some guys out there. Sign a couple pieces. I guarantee if Cincinnati's willing to spend the money. That's what I'm saying. Jamar has to take somewhat of a discount. Joe Burrow already got the bag. Hey, maybe Joe Burrow uh renegotiates his deal. Who knows? But one thing I can say is I think, in my opinion, I think Jamar Chase is going to stick in Cincinnati because he knows. Well, he should be smart enough to know he's not going to get the type of numbers, targets, and touchdowns and yards and season awards if Joe Burrow isn't his quarterback.
Now, on the other side, I don't trust this team. I don't know how anyone can. I thought they had every opportunity. I guess the one bright side you can look at, the defense actually showed up for this game. Their defense showed up. I guess that's the thing you could hang
Last
your hat
5
on.
weeks.
Yeah, I mean, TJ Watt hasn't really done anything, but outside of that, Joey Porter Jr. actually had a pretty good game, but defense, they looked all right going into the playoffs now, but offensively, I mean, they did not look good. I mean, why is it Najee Harris on 4th down in their own why is it Najee Harris in the game? You can't give the ball. I like Jalen Warren, and no disrespect to him, but you cannot give the ball to Jalen Warren at that position. Pat Firemouth, what are you doing dropping the ball? I mean, Russ threw a dime to you. George Pickens, I mean, what is going on? There is something wrong in the locker room. I mean, I don't know if you heard it not this week, last week after the game where the reporter asked George Pickens, he goes, yeah, Russ said there was miscommunication or something went wrong between you and him again with the interception. And George Pickens goes, wait, you said that? And he goes, no, Russ said that. He goes, Russ said that? And he goes, yeah, Russ said that. And he just put up his face mask and his like ski mask and just didn't say a word. There is something wrong in the locker room. I don't know what it is. And also, I was watching the game very confused because I felt like the offense needed a spark. Why didn't they and they're awful in the red zone. If you look at the numbers, they are awful in the red zone. Why aren't you putting Justin Fields in some of these packages? Get a spark going. Russ can't move the way Justin Fields could move. I was baffled. I'm not an NFL coach, but I'm sitting here watching it like Justin Fields needs to get in the game, kid. Like, talk to me. I don't think, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, AFC North in division playoff matchup, 9 points is way too much. Honestly, I don't think it is. That the way this offense is playing right now, I think Baltimore is going to smoke them the way these two teams are playing.
Honestly, I have no answer for you. I honestly wish they would have put Justin Fields in the game because I do agree with you. They needed some type of spark that Russ wasn't giving them. George Pickens, he had a horrible game. He had one of the worst games, I'm gonna be honest, that I can remember in recent history. For a chance to win the AFC North, you're the true number 1 receiver for the team. Everybody knows you're the top dog. You had 4 drops? That's just unacceptable. Realistically, Dill, for the Steelers, I think their chances for anything is over. The last 4 or 5 weeks has been brutal. They honestly can't get nothing going offensively. I don't know if it's rhythm or if it's possibly a locker room controversy. Who knows still? But this honestly hasn't been the same offense for about 4 to 5 weeks now.
Yeah, and I think Arthur Smith, I understand wanting to run the ball a lot, but they don't run the ball effectively. That's the problem, too. You're down 17 points. You got to throw the ball. So I really don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh, but they do wind up getting the 6th seed. They'll go on the road and play the Ravens. They are 9-point underdogs as of right now. Let's stay in the AFC. Like I said, nothing really to talk about here, but once the first quarter was kind of over, you knew Denver was going to blow them out. The total was 40.5, and I can't believe the under hit when Denver scored 38. Kansas City did not score a single point. I mean, obviously they had all their backups in, but Carson Wentz is awful. I mean, that was just a pitiful performance from Carson Wentz. I mean, I'm lost of words. I really don't know what to say. Carson Wentz just stinks at football. Great performance from in a game they needed to get into the playoffs from Bo Nix. 4 touchdowns, over 300 yards. He led the team in rushing. Marvin Mims continues to be a really sneaky guy to have an anytime touchdown. He had another 2 touchdown performance. Cortland Sutton hit his incentive, so shout out him. He got an extra $250,000, but good win for the Broncos going into the playoffs.
Yeah, Bo Nix, I understand there was a bunch of backups out there but at the end of the day, 26 to 29 is still impressive.
You need to do that.
Yeah, 321, 4 tutties. He looked, be honest, he looked great against. Although I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, there's a bunch of backups. Still look pretty damn good, people. Only concern I had about this game was the fact that Denver couldn't establish a running game against a bunch of backups. You're going to need to run the ball or be able to run the ball come playoff time still. So that's the only concern for me, that the fact that you had 28 combined touches from your running backs and they got you just around a little over 70 yards. That's a little concerning.
Yeah, and right now they are going on the road to versus Buffalo. They opened up at 8-point underdogs. Money has come in on Buffalo. They are 9-point underdogs now. Think that's a little too high?
Them and the Steelers about to cash 10, and I'm gonna tease it up.
Even more. Let's go to the Jets, because I called it. They would win this game. One thing I want to say real quick on the Jets front, because I want to talk mostly about Miami. Awful that they keep focusing on Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers when you should be focusing on Garrett Wilson, a guy that has expressed frustration, a guy that you cannot leave your building, a guy you drafted, you cannot let walk out your door. And for you to just blindly ignore him, I don't think is in the benefit of the team moving forward. Yeah, you won. Aaron Rodgers threw his 500 touchdown. He actually threw 4 touchdowns. Shout out him. One of 4 guys in NFL history. So that was pretty cool to see. Devontae Adams had a touchdown. Even Allen Lazard didn't drop a ball. He had a touchdown as well. So unfortunately, they won. The Jets do have the 7th pick overall. I'm done with Mike McDaniels. I truly am done with Mike McDaniels. He's not a good coach. For a team like the Jets that could not stop the run, you only gave David and Achane 11 carries.
What 11 yards per.
What are we doing? He's the guy that is the poster boy for analytics. What are we talking about? The Jets can't tackle, and you only give him 11 touches? Can you explain it to me like I'm 5? Because I was sitting there watching the game like, this guy's an idiot. And then you sit Tyreek Hill. He's out. There's problems in Miami.
Honestly, don't know. Even before the 61-yarder, he was averaging around 6 yards a clip. I have no clue why he didn't choose to run the ball more with a backup quarterback in Tyler Huntley, who honestly I think is okay. He's not Tua. Let's just say that. I honestly like Mike McDaniels. I think he's a pretty good play caller, offensive playboard. I honestly think he could run a good running scheme. He came off the Shanahan branch. Was what with the Rams? What was with the 49ers? Not 49ers. The Redskins back in the day. So he comes from that Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. Like I said, I think he's okay, but maybe his days as a head coach for now are coming to an end. But I honestly think he'll get picked up as an OC pretty quick.
Well, no, they came out after the game and they said he's good. We're keeping him. He just got that extension. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm done with
I
him.
like him. I like him. Dude. I think
He's
they give,
but like
give
you said, he might be just a better OC. Some guys aren't made to be a head coach.
But when given a healthy quarterback, he's made 2 playoff appearances. When he
And
doesn't
lost. They
not,
can't win in the cold.
a lot of coaches out here have jobs who haven't been to the playoffs yet, Dale.
That's fair. That's fair. Even Jeff Olberg as well.
Yeah, as one thing we gotta give credit to McDaniels. Even with a quarterback riddled with injuries all season, they still managed to win 8 games, and it came down to the last game of the season to make the playoffs. Gotta give him some type of
I
credit.
like Snoop Huntley. Shout out him. He's a Pro Bowler, but he can't be throwing the ball 41 times.
No, that's what I said. They should have ran the ball more. Probably wins the game.
No, they should have won the game. They stink for that. I'm so mad. That blew my day. Honestly, I was having a great day betting.
You would have had a top 5 pick.
Yeah, like what are we doing now? Tyreek Hill. He said, honestly, I thought he was very calm the way he handled the press conference afterward. I think it's a little overreaction in the heat of the moment. I think he's gonna have a realization and be like, you know what, I'm actually gonna stay. His agent's gonna call him and be like, they just gave you this amount of zeros. Let's stay put here for a little bit. All right. I don't know if we're gonna get this in the open market. So a little overreaction on his part, you think?
No, just because Tyreek Hill came from a very winning environment in Kansas City. And he honestly thought he was gonna possibly have the same type of winning success in Miami. He wants to go win. I don't know what's going on in Miami. Jimmy Butler wants to leave. Now Tyreek Hill wants to leave. Miami's not a happy place.
Usually that's the place everyone wants to go.
Not a happy place for star athletes right now in Miami.
No, not at all. And then we have the other playoff team in the AFC, the Houston Texans. They're actually home underdogs against the Chargers. -2.5 at home. The Texans, they do wind up beating the Tennessee Titans. They wind up getting the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Mason Rudolph, Will Levis. Both of them winded up playing. I guess the only bright spot for this team, Westbrook and Keeney, I think is cool. Calvin Ridley's all right. Tony Pollard had a good year, but they need a quarterback kid, right? They got to draft one.
They're going to draft Shedeur Sanders. Congratulations, Tennessee Titans. Pains me to say this, but you just got Shedeur Sanders. You know, I'm not too mad about it. I just wish we would have got the first overall pick just so we could trade back and set ourselves up for the future. But hey, you know, I think Tennessee, I think it's not the perfect spot because I think the Giants would have been a little better with Malik Neighbors. Those 2 young guys for the next 10 seasons, that would have been, you know, maybe something special. But with Tennessee, you got a pretty, let's just say a solid defense. Not great, not good, but, you know, solid potential on the defensive side. You have a pretty good running back in Tony Pollard, and you got some weapons on the outside. So I think it's a pretty good spot for Shedeur, but they need to do something about the offensive line quick.
Yeah, the offensive line is a liability. Do you agree with them keeping Brian Callahan after that year? Because they're going to bring in a quarterback, but he needs time to develop. Whether it is Cam Ward or it is Shedeur, you need time to develop. And that's what I don't understand about what the Giants do. And we'll talk about them in a little. But do you agree with them keeping Brian Callahan? Because I thought Gerard Mayo did a better job than Brian Callahan, and he got the boot.
I think so, just because you brought him there to develop a quarterback, and now you just got prized with the first overall pick. I think you at least leave him there for at least 2 seasons and see what he can work out with Shedeur Sanders.
Chargers wind up winning. They get the number 5 seed. They beat the Raiders 34-20. It's good there. They're running the ball really good again with JK being back. Quinion Johnson. This is the game we were waiting for him to see. Unfortunately, it took
not that type of game. A big game. You're never gonna do that again.
No, but it's unfortunate that it was against the Raiders in Week 18. I'll say that.
That's the only thing. I'm not gonna give him credit for having the biggest game of his career on a game that didn't really matter. So
Yeah.
good for him. If he could do this week 5 next year, I'll give him
Perfect.
some respect. If he could do this in a playoff game, I'll give him some respect. But he would never do this again in his life. So it is what it is.
Sad year for the Raiders. They finished 4-13. We wind up catching their win total under. They have the number 6 pick in the draft. I guess it's positive. Aiden O'Connell's a good backup. And Brock Bowers is a top 5 tight end. He broke the single season record for catches and over 1,000 yards as well. And he had a touchdown again. So that's a positive. Brock Bowers is elite. I just don't know what you do with Antonio Pierce. He said he doesn't know. He hasn't heard anything. I think he's another guy that's out.
I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep him though.
Hmm.
This is another team that. What did you expect? What did you expect? Yes, I understand they won a couple weeks ago, and losing the number 1 overall pick, so maybe that's a fireable offense. But realistically, Raiders was in a lot of games. I think Antonio Pierce, I'm gonna say is a must keep, but did he do enough to get fired? In my opinion, no.
I think we talked about the Patriots and it being a reactionary fire. I think winning and not getting the number 1 pick is a fireable offense. And I honestly don't think now that Tom Brady has ownership, I don't think he's the guy moving forward that Tom wants. I think he's going to be in Mark Davis's ear and be like, listen, like we can't have him moving forward. Like, no offense to Antonio Pierce. I think he's a good defensive coordinator and a good locker room guy, a good players coach, but he's not a head coach in my opinion. So we'll see. Maybe he does wind up sticking another year. But yeah, that's the AFC. Now I want to go to the NFC. Lions, they win 15-2 season. What a season for the Detroit Lions. They get the number 1 seed. They get the bye, and they have home field playoffs throughout. Number 2 seed, 14-3, the Philadelphia Eagles. They win the East. Buccaneers, they didn't make it look pretty, but they do win the South 10-7. They get the 3 seed. Rams, they win and no, they lost, but they wind up winning the division and getting the 4th seed. It's crazy. 14-3 gets you a wild card spot.
A road game.
A road spot at that. 14-3. Gotta tip your hat off to the Vikings. What an incredible season from them. 6th seed, the Redskins, they finished 12-5. And then the Packers, they get the 7th seed and wind up losing yesterday to the Bears 11-6. Kid, I want to start with Sunday Night Football. What a game. It was kind of a blowout. I mean, not early on. Second half, they got throttled. But are you worried from Sam Darnold and this Viking team that they weren't able to do really anything against the defense that we both thought, and I think a lot of people thought that they could expose? Unfortunately, Terrion Arnold winded up getting hurt for the Lions, but they just blitzed, and they made Sam Darnold not look good at all. Surprising, Justin Jefferson only had 3 catches. I mean, outside of Naylor getting a few big catches, they weren't able to really do anything offensively.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned just because this is, the biggest game of the season. It comes down to for the division in Detroit, and you kind of lay a goose egg. That's my thing. Offensively, Sammy D did not look good. You can make the case it's one of the worst games of the season at the biggest stage of the season. So is it going to be something like that moving forward, where when the lights shine the brightest, is he going to be a deer in headlights? That's my thing.
Yeah.
Is he going to have the same performance next week? Because if he does, shit, that $100 million contract, I'm not sure if he's going to get it. Because when the lights shine the brightest, you come up small. That's not a good sign, Dill. And then for Detroit, they started slow, but they ended up getting the ball rolling. Jahmyr Gibbs is special. I know a lot of people, to last 2 drafts ago, you could say, question why did 2 running backs go so early. Bijan Robinson is showing y'all he's one of the best running backs in football, and Jahmyr Gibbs just proved to y'all yesterday by itself he's one of the best running backs in football as well. Jahmyr Gibbs was just flat out special, though. 23 carries, basically a $140. I think he had 4 total touchdowns.
Yeah.
3 running, 1 catching. He was just flat out special. Jared Goff, had himself a day, almost perfect. 27 for 33. Besides the 2 picks, he was almost perfect. People, I think Jared Goff, like I said, if he didn't have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, he would have been in the MVP conversation because what he's done all season long was phenomenal. It was just a damn shame to see the Vikings perform so poorly in the biggest stage of the season after performing so well the whole season.
That's what worries me. And then they go on the road Monday night in LA where they rested all their players and their favorites.
Not an easy spot. Deal, what I told you. Wouldn't be shocked if somehow, some way, Sean McVay, Sammy, and Matthew Stafford win a couple games.
Yeah, I mean, he's proven it, and yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Now, did Kevin O'Connell lose Coach of the Year yesterday? Because that was a bad performance.
That's a tough question.
Right now he's minus 750. The odds indicate he still won it. Dan Campbell is the second at plus 400. And I love the sportsmanship after the game. Dan Campbell said, "Hey, good game. We'll see you in 2 weeks."
Love it.
I love it. They already think they're gonna win and have. And now I know the cliche. Yeah, and I know the cliche is like it's hard to beat a team 3 times, but the record in the NFL actually indicates it's actually easier to beat a team 3 times. But I don't know. I don't think he lost it. It worries me that on the biggest stage in a playoff game, say what you want. I know it was week 18, but that was a playoff game. They laid an egg.
Yeah. Solo game, prime time.
That worries me. Let's go to the number 2 seed, Philadelphia Eagles. I'll say this about this. Yesterday was the game of backups. Tanner McKee is the second, is this QB2. Screw, what's his name?
Kenny Pickett.
That's
your boy. That's your boy.
Not anymore. Tanner McKee is my boy now. He was phenomenal. 27 for 41 over 260 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. They wind up winning. Shout out Malik Neighbors. He winded up having a really good day. He got the touchdown. He is phenomenal. But I just don't understand. And maybe you could, because I think you're more of a Dable guy than I am. But it's insane that they keep John Mara, the owner of the Giants, wind up keeping Brian Dable and Joe Shine, the GM. It's crazy. If you're bringing them back and you're giving them permission to draft a quarterback or your next franchise quarterback and develop him, that takes time. And they expect results right away from a rookie quarterback because John Mara, after the game, said, "Better not take too long," quote, "because I've about run out of patience." He later added, quote, "I'm going to have to be in a better mood this time next year." So you expect results right away from a rookie quarterback? If you have a short leash, you shouldn't bring the coach back, right? Am I crazy?
One thing I would say is Brian Daboll is a great play caller. Early on this season, you even on record saying it ain't Brian Daboll's play calling, it's the quarterback play. How many times this season did we say Daniel Jones just missed a wide open receiver, overthrown a wide open receiver? Even Drew Lock a couple of times, overthrown, underthrown wide open receivers. Clearly not the play calling. Brian Daboll is getting guys open. Would you agree on that? He's getting guys open, Dill?
Yeah, and I would also say if what's his name? The kid from Duke. We were just talking about Daniel Jones. If he was the quarterback, they win more than 3 games.
Yeah, they would have won a couple games, and they would have won this game. Realistically, Dill.
Yeah,
so
100%.
That's my thing. Like, you have Brian Daboll. He's been to a playoff. He's won a playoff game. Got to give him credit on that. With Daniel Jones, say what you want, he did that. Went to Minnesota, won a road playoff game on the road with Daniel Jones. He did that.
Yeah.
And now with the GM, not a fan of his by any means necessary. But besides letting go of Saquon, let me tell you the things he's done. He's drafted Malik Neighbors. He drafted Kayvon Thibodeau. Are those guys potential Pro Bowlers for the next couple of seasons still?
Yeah.
Yeah. He traded for Brian Burns, one of the best linebackers in all of football prior to this season. right?
Mm-hmm.
He drafted Quentin,
Saquon,
no, Williams, the Dex no Dexter.
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, he drafted Dexter Lawrence. He drafted Adoree Jackson, the corner. He's a stud, dude. He drafted some key guys. So besides not re-signing Saquon, which a lot of teams out there, not just only the Giants, aren't willing to pay a running back $12 million. Besides that one move, in my opinion, the GM has been making a ton of great moves, especially in the draft.
They also drafted Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
You,
but
you know what I mean?
Who advised them on that pick? Eli Manning.
Awful. They need
yeah,
to tank another year and get Archie Manning.
yeah. But besides that, Dill, you got Kayvon Thibodeau, you got Malik Neighbors, you got Adoree Jackson, you got Isaiah Simmons. They've been drafting some good Dante Banks. They've been drafting some good guys. Even Jerome Tracy Jr. I think
but they're not panning out, unfortunately. That's the thing.
Because of why?
Because of someone he drafted.
Quarterback play.
But that's also on the GM. Yes, he drafted some good guys, but he also drafted some bad guys as well.
Was he there? Was he the guy who drafted Daniel Jones?
Yeah, I think so. He's been there. He's been there a while now.
Yeah, but Brian Daboll didn't draft Daniel Jones.
No, he didn't. But he doesn't usually.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure.
Joe Shine, how long has he been there? Let me see. He's been with there since 2017. Yeah, he definitely drafted him.
Yeah, I think he was drafted 2017.
Yeah, so I mean, regardless, yes, you're gonna hit some home runs when you're up there at the top, but you're gonna swing and miss as well. And I just think an ownership like the Giants, they need to move on.
And he hit more than he swung and missed.
We'll see. I just don't understand bringing him back. I really don't.
No, I don't agree with it either. But I'm just trying to justify it.
All right, let's go to the Green Bay Packers because they lost and they wind up moving to the 7th seed, and it's crazy because they're going to play this Philadelphia Eagle team, and they're without Christian Watson. He tore his ACL. You knew it was bad. It was non-contact. You saw him get stretchered out. Very tough scene for Green Bay, and in a game that they should have won and that I felt like needed to win. Now they go on the road at the Link, and they're 4-point underdogs. I don't love this game for Green Bay at all, if I'm being honest. I think Philly could rout them. I'm not the biggest on Jordan Love. He just throws off his back foot. Yes, he does it well, but not the biggest Jordan Love guy. And without Christian Watson, they don't really have a big deep threat guy. I like Josh Jacobs. I like Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft. Jalen Reed is good. But I think missing Christian Watson really hurt them.
Yeah, unless Romeo Doubs could give you a performance like he did last year against the Cowboys in the divisional round, I think it's going to be tough to get explosive plays, especially on that Philadelphia defense. Though we know how good that defense is. It's just, can Jordan Love expose it? Can he make some big plays with his arms off his back foot? Can Josh Jacobs find some holes, break some tackles, get some yak yards? I think it's going to be tough on the road. So I understand in the AFC you got a couple big spreads, but I think this is one of the toughest matchups in all of Super Wildcard Weekend is the Green Bay Packers with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's stay in the division and we'll go to the Cowboys at home. Now, a lot of teams, one being the Bears that we saw just win, they winded up requesting an interview for Mike McCarthy as the head for their next head coach. They have denied it as of right now. They want to focus on the playoffs. Not the playoffs, excuse me, but the Cowboys. Jerry Jones did not want them to request it. Looks like they're going to bring him back, and I said that a few weeks ago. Did he do enough at 7-10? I know they didn't really do a lot, obviously, without Dak being there, but 7-10 with the no run game, defense didn't look good, no quarterback. I felt like he did enough to keep his job there.
One thing I can honestly say, I'm gonna ask you a question, though. I'm gonna see who you know, if you know the answer. Who's the top 2 head coaches in wins in the last 2 seasons? Regular season.
Andy Reid. And if you're asking me, there's probably Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy, besides this year, is coming off 3 straight 12-5 seasons.
Yeah.
Hate it or love it, Jerry Jones, love him some 12-5 win seasons. Uh, yes, 7-10, not horrible, especially without Dak Prescott for the majority of the whole season. In my opinion, I think Mike McCarthy did a good enough job to at least keep his job. Is he the guy to get it done? I'm not sure if this team, the way it's constructed right now, we'll see next season. Are they a Super Bowl winning or capable team? I just got to see it. But in my opinion, I think Mark McCarthy is a pretty good head coach, and I think he will stay with the Cowboys.
Yeah, he's a Super Bowl winner. Love him or hate him. He's just big.
14 years ago.
Yeah, but still, it's hard to do in the NFL. So I agree. I do think he did enough to keep his job. Shout out Trey Lance too, getting the start too. Showed some wheels too. On the other side, Washington, what a year, 12-5. And are you surprised they're getting the Sunday night game? I think it's because of Jaden Daniels. People want to see him, right?
I wouldn't say that. Regardless, I think it's the matchup though, because that's overall it's a good game. Tampa Bay, hate him or love him, Tampa Bay is an exciting team to watch. Don't get me wrong, the Eagles and Packers might get more views. You could say views, but I think Bucks and Commanders might be the most exciting game of Wild Card Weekend. I honestly think it's gonna be a high scoring. I think Jaden Daniels could do some things with his leg. Even Baker Mayfield could do some things with his leg. So small chance it might be the most entertaining game of the weekend. Just might not be the most viewed game of the weekend.
Yeah, Baker and the Bucks, they wind up winning 27-19. I think it's a very interesting matchup. I like the Redskins here.
And not to get too ahead of ourselves though, Dill. The Bills Broncos, I doubt it. Small chance it could be a blowout. Eagles Packers, doubt it. Small chance it could be a blowout. Commanders Bucks seems like a fucking game.
Yeah, that's why I think that, and I also think two good quarterbacks. I think the matchup that I was just about to explain, we got Mike Evans. Shout out him, 11 straight years with 1,000 yards. I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, top 5 receiver in my book. I love Mike Evans. I think he's phenomenal. And I love that they gave him that play last to get him the 1,000 yards. Jalen McMillan is a stud too. They got to stop doing the whole gun thing. I don't think he was really intending for it. Put the flags away. Let the boys play a little bit. But I'll say this, the matchup between Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn Lattimore now with the Redskins, and he has held Mike Evans in check in career-wise, held him to like 3 to 4 catches per matchup. I think that is a matchup to watch for come Sunday night as well. Think it's going to be a hell of a game, but it wasn't easy, but at home, Baker Mayfield does beat the New Orleans Saints 27-19. Bucky Irving, I fucking love that guy. I love saying his name, too.
Yeah, Bucks didn't make it pretty. Kind of had a lot of people sweating. But when I saw Baker Mayfield throw that dime to McMillan on the sideline for a touchdown deal, I was like, they're going to win this game. When I saw Baker rush for 15, 20 yards,
put his shoulder down.
I said, yeah. That's the thing I love about Baker Mayfield. The kid is going to go out there. He's going to ball. He's going to go out there and try to win the game. Got to give the Buccaneers credit. Got to give Todd Bowles credit. I think this is the first win of Baker Mayfield's career coming back from double digits. So give credit to Baker coming back from a double-digit deficit.
Yeah, so like I said, 2 games, the 2 AFC North games or not the AFC North, the AFC matchups. Obviously, Houston is going to be on Saturday night, and then you always have the AFC North on a Saturday as well. So those are the 2 games, Ravens -9.5, and then the Chargers are 2.5-point favorites on the road against Houston. We got the 3 games on Sunday. Buffalo, big favorites at home, -8.5. Green Bay Dogs on the road against Philly at the link, -4. And then the Washington game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 3-point favorites at home. And then Monday Night Football, great game, I think. And to be honest, I am surprised. Are you, I mean, after that performance, I didn't think the books would make the Vikings a favorite. They opened up 2-point favorites on the road against the Rams. Now money has come in on the Rams. And I think for all the reasons you laid out, Rams, now it's down to 1.5 Vikings, short favorites on the road. Kid, that's the closest one on the books. Are you surprised the Vikings are favorites on the road after Sunday night performance?
To be honest, we shouldn't be surprised that a 14-win team is a favorite.
Yeah, but it's Sean McVay.
No, I agree with you 100%. I said it weeks ago. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win a couple playoff games. Would not be surprised at all. But Minnesota, you can't deny, all season long been very impressive.
Yeah.
Take away yesterday's performance, Sammy D, you can make the case could have been an MVP candidate. Candidate.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson, one of the best wide receivers in football, can make the case he's the best wide receiver in football.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson took that next step, and defensively, the Vikings been a top 5 scoring defense all season long. So I'm not shocked at all that they're the favorites. Do they deserve to be? After yesterday's performance, probably not. But maybe come Thursday, Friday night, I'll be like, damn right, they deserve to be favorites.
Unfortunately, we didn't end week 18 hot. 1 and 2 for both of Elvis and I. Teaser, you can't get a teaser to save your life.
I can't. Next year's a dub, though. I'm only doing 2-leg teasers at minus 134, minus 140, because this whole 3-leg, you know what's crazy? I always get 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's always the one that kills us.
I had Miami plus the 8.
They didn't get it. We both hit our locks, though, surprisingly. I hit Ravens first half. You hit Mike Evans. We should have put a lot on Mike Evans responsibly. We both missed on our dog. We both took the Vikings. They laid a goose egg, and the Vikings winded up fucking me as well in my teaser. So we both go 1 and 2 for week 18. Any last comments for week 18 that you had?
Gerard Mayo, I was on record defending you a couple of weeks ago, saying how you deserve to keep your job. We didn't have no expectations for this season. Even though you're a 3-win team, you should deserve to keep your job. This is the NBA. I think we should give you another go. But after winning yesterday in Buffalo, you have every right to be fired. You don't deserve to ever wear New England merch, sweater, hoodie for the next couple of years, because you set us back a couple of years. That's the issue. I don't want to see Gerard Mayo anywhere in Massachusetts, anywhere in New England, till there's a fucking Super Bowl reunion. Till then, Gerard Mayo, you could kick rocks, bro, because you set us back a couple of years. I love you. You a champ. You did your thing. But when we needed to lose the game to get the first overall pick, you couldn't do that. When I put my hard-earned money week 2 or 3 against the Jets Thursday night, we lost by 20. But you telling me on week 18 to get the first overall pick, you out here winning games? You out here telling your quarterback go 22 for 26? 2 tutties?
That's Joe Milton.
Where was that all year? Gerard Mayo, you should be ashamed of yourself for setting back your team a couple more years when you could have set them up for the fucking future. Wow, man. Fucking Gerard Mayo, bro. You ain't shit. Honestly, I'm sorry.
I'll say he's a champ. You better put some respect on
him. That's why I say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was just emotional.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong. But, man, I'm not wrong for feeling the way I feel.
Yeah.
I was wrong for saying the things I said. I'm not wrong for feeling the way I feel.
Yeah, you're emotional right now. Trust me, I've been there. Trust me. All right, kid. Before we get to our NBA plays, let's take a quick word from our sponsor. We're brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry watching Super Wild Card Wednesday, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to it. 9-game slate here on a Monday in the association. OKC, man, 15 in a row, franchise record. They're rolling right now, 30-5. They beat the Knicks over the weekend. And watch out for the Cavs. They're starting to roll again, too. That's 10 in a row for them, 31-4. Knicks, after winning 9 in a row, they've lost 2 in a row now. So little setback. But what do we like here for Monday?
Yeah, I just chugged half of Viva. I just chugged half.
You're mad.
I need
Emotional, not mad. Emotional.
Not mad. I'll be all right. First game, 7:00 start. Deal. Let's go. Portland Trailblazers taking on the Detroit Pistons. Pistons winning on 4 of the last 5, getting things, trying to get to 500 tonight. I think they do that. I'm gonna also lay the 6.5 with them. Dill. Give me the Detroit Pistons. I never thought I'd be saying this. Laying 6.5 at home. Give me the Pistons still. Next game. This game I'm gonna try to honestly watch on NBA TV. Should be good. Even though the Suns been playing like hot doo-doo as of late. This game should be interesting. Phoenix catching 3.5, whatever you could get. Over under sitting at 221.5. 76ers taking on the Phoenix Suns still. I'm going to take the Phoenix Suns plus 3.5. I think, me personally, the way they've been performing as of late, this is a good spot, good matchup to bounce back and win one on the road. You know, Philadelphia, yes, they got Embiid back. They got PG. They got Maxey. But I don't know what's going on with Phoenix. I think this is just a good spot to turn it around. I think they're live dogs here. Give me the plus 3.5, a low sprinkle plus 135 on the money line. Next game, Indiana Pacers taking on my Brooklyn Nets. Brooklyn catching 10.5, whatever you could get out there. Over under sitting at 222.5. Give me the plus 10. Don't get me wrong. We've been struggling as of late. Ever since we traded Dennis Schroeder, honestly, we've been struggling. Pacers coming alive. They are coming alive. They absolutely are better than us. I don't think they're 11-point team better than us. I think 10.5 points, 10 points is too much. Do they have a shot to beat us by 11? Yeah. I just highly doubt it. Give me the 10.5 at home. Next game, Orlando Magic taking on your New York Knicks.
Big game.
They cooled off.
A little bit.
Cooled off. Lost 2 straight. Not concerned about it at all. But Orlando catching 11.5, 12 points? That's too much still. Come on now. We understand the Knicks are good. Knicks are really good. But damn, that's too many points on a snowy day in January. They'll give me the 11.5, 12 points with the Magic. Next game, Los Angeles Clippers taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves lost 3 straight, man. I don't know what's going on. Kawhi Leonard making his return back with the Clippers. Interesting how he looks tonight. His point total is at 14.5. Tempted to hit the over because we know that mid-range is deadly. But give me the Clippers, though. I expect Clippers to bounce back. Give me the Clippers plus 120 on the money line. I expect Kawhi to gently come in and do his thing. I think Kawhi is like Kevin Durant. You could plug him in any team, and he'll come in and just get you buckets. That's what Kawhi does. He's still elite. Wonder how good his knees are going to look, but give me the Clippers plus 120 on the money line. Give me James Harden over 7.5 assists. Now with Kawhi back, he could dish the rock a little more. You don't need to lead his team in points, scoring, shots attempt, none of that. Dish it out to Powell, dish it off to Kawhi. Give me over 7.5 assists, and then I'm gonna end it off 2-way 6-point teaser. I'm gonna tease up the Miami Heat to plus 9.5 at Sacramento, and I'm gonna tease down the Bucks to -1.
Kid, I love it. Good luck. Hey, let's start 2025 on a hot note. Good luck on your plays. We'll be back maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. We'll be back. We'll preview Super Wild Card Wednesday. We'll have picks. We'll have our college playoff picks as well. Semifinals down to 2 games, Thursday night and Friday night as well. So we'll be back. We'll have plenty of picks for you guys then. But any last words before we get up out of here?
I apologize, Gerard Mayo. You did a lot of great things as a Patriot player, just not as many as great things as a Patriots coach.
Good luck, Gerard Mayo, in your search.